for my followers, who is Sonia Rinaldi?
Oh my. Are you recording?
Please?
Are you
Yes, I'm recording this interview on Zoom.
Oh my God. Okay. Who is Sonia Rinaldi? Oh, well, about 30 years ago, it's a long time, I became very interested in instrumental transcommunication, mainly because it seems that it could give solid evidences of afterlife, and this was what interested me, because I think that religion hasn't been enough for the people to trust something, and I think that we need some more solid evidence. And here I am after 30 years.
Yes, I have a lot of researchers of this ETK, Hans Otto König. You know Hans Otto König in...
I do.
And Professor Ernst Senkowski.
Yes, I think he died, right?
Yes, well, 3 years ago. And Diese Forschungs is...
Yeah, he was wonderful. I met him once. He had been in Brazil long ago, and I met him, and he made a wonderful work for investigation, for scientific approach of ITV. So I think that it was a great cooperation.
You have a new technique to research this phenomenon on picture, on video. You have a balloon, a white balloon with a light on it, and we can film this picture from afterlife persons.
Yeah, this is one of the techniques that I had been using, but also I have been testing a vapor, and it has shown wonderful results. Vapor from a humidifier. The humidifier, those that you have at home for humidifying the air, you know, it is just a smoke, it is something like a steam. And in the vapor, they have been able to create incredible transimages, including the CGD ones. And it is a different connection, because I think that the vapor is something still even more difficult for them to shape, for them to create an image over the vapor. So I think that this shows the authenticity also of the phenomenon.
Okay, I have a girl in Germany, in Leipzig, and he has a near-death experience. And since this time, he can drawing these pictures of the afterlife people. And then he, after this drawing the pictures of these people, he use glasses like this.
Yes.
And then he make a video about his own faces.
Yes.
And then it said, the picture of the afterlife people are in the glasses and you can film it.
I have been seeing these, not from Germany, but there is experimentator in United States called the Sherry Pearl, and she has been using these and making pictures in the glasses.
Yes, these interferences of these pictures, it's only your work, huh? in the balloon.
Yeah, yeah, the balloon is something interesting that I discovered casually, but I think that it functions because it retains the light, so that the other side can manipulate, they can create images inside the balloon.
Okay.
And in truth, soon, by December, I hope to have ready a new setup based on this previous idea, so that instead of being balloons, I'll be using domes. So 2 domes, one inside of the other, and with running water.
Okay.
So this was requested by Scott Milligan's guide. Scott Milligan is a respected and famous medium of physical effects from England, Scott Milligan, and he received a message from his guide called Daniel for these instructions for me to use double dome, one inside the other, and film with running water. So
Okay.
I'm building this device, and I hope to test it by December.
And the voices, you need recording the voices, or what is the technique for the voices?
For voices, I have been developing lots of different technologies, but the last one is like this. I use very small segments of voices with absolutely no sense, because it is just like a something
Okay.
like, you know, absolutely. And those sounds are played randomically, so that I will never have the same sound noise ever, because every time it change, it is randomic, and it plays, keep playing, and then I record. And using this technology, which making possible, for instance, to have a previous reply, because obviously if it is always a new sound playing, because it is a new composition, the way it plays, so that every time it is something new, and I have been getting very, very clear voices.
Yes, I have viewed it. You have sent me a link about last works about these famous people. You have Nikola Tesla and Rowdy. It is amazing, huh?
Yeah, in truth, yes, Tesla was announced to be as the coordinator of the transmission stations for some 4 years now, and this was the time that things changed absolutely and were absolutely improved, either in voices or in images. And I'm sure that Tesla is testing new technologies to achieve us, and he's succeeding, because it is incredible what he has been doing. So some images are absolutely clear as we are now. So it has to be something done by Tesla, because he was a genius already. And there he are. And Howdiv, I don't know if you saw, but last year I was in a seance in Phoenix, and we had a materialization meeting with David Thompson, and Dr. Konstantin Raudve materialized to speak to me, to give me some instructions.
Well, materializes
No, in voice box.
And voice, okay.
So he, when the seance started, David Thompson was inside the cabinet, and everything very secure. And then it was announced that a man wanted to speak to Sonia, and I said, "Oh my God, who can that be?" I thought initially it could be Tesla, but
is it a direct voice? About the direct voice?
Yeah, direct voice, yes. And this dialogue with him was recorded, and I have it in. I can send you.
Yes, very good.
It's a wonderful dialogue, because Dr. Howdiv came, and immediately his voice was just close as here, and he started talking to me with his typical voice that everybody knows, and it was an amazing dialogue. And he told me to use some different techniques, and when he was going out, I asked him if I still could put a question, and he said yes. And then I made a question about the phone calls that he made some 20 years ago, and he confirmed that they were real. So it was a very impressive communication. I'll send to you.
I think the WLAN is a problem for the direct calling now.
Yes, yeah, that was what he said. Yes. I asked him why we don't receive phone calls as we used it to get 25 years ago.
Yes.
And I said, well, we have better technology now. We have everything is better now. Why we don't receive phone calls? And he used this expression. He said, it is because of the fabric of the universe, of the round Earth. So it is the fabric. So I understand that, GPS is internet.
A lot of frequencies, a lot of things. Do you work with Dr. Gerry Schwartz about the soul phone?
I know him, but I don't know much about that.
Okay. I have seen a lot of pictures and videos of sent you to me links in this catalog. And I've seen elf men and elf women with long ears. Is this possible?
Well, I think that we are learning a lot with all these communications.
Okay.
Not only that the deceased ones survive afterlife, but I think that it's very clear that we are in touch with other species, other races,
okay,
that can achieve us. I think that they couldn't achieve us before because we didn't have the minimum technology. Now we do, so they can reach us.
Okay.
And I think that many of them, including those elves that you mentioned, that were already mentioned in the Nordic mythology. I think that maybe we can discover that all these were real. People were not inventing, maybe some 1,000 years ago, they may have visited Earth, and the Nordic people registered with the pointy ears and so on. And maybe they are returning now because, by technology, there is no how to change what they send. So it is possible that all these, it was old mythology. In truth, it was not a legend. Maybe it was real.
Okay, and what is the next step to prove the people that afterlife is real?
Well, I'm anxious to test the new device that is being built. It will be a huge, it will be a table with the domes and the running water. And it was obviously very complicated to manage all these, to create all these, because here in my lab, there is no water, running water also. So I had to create something, and it is being built. I hope that maybe this new technology may bring the deceased ones in 3D or in holography, so that they can get materialized. Let's see, because with the vapor, many times they can gather the vapor and create dense, solid images. So now they requested, the other side of the request, the running water. So they for sure has a reason, and let's see, that will be the next step, and I'll tell you next year what will happen.
The scientists are very complicated with this phenomenon and ignore this phenomenon about the whole world, about 150 years. And when we look to these phenomena, we can't deny it.
Yeah.
We can't deny it. It's so a lot of things are in this world, and in your work, in work of Hans Otto König, and a lot of people about these phenomena for the ETK. What do you think? What needs a scientist to accept these phenomena?
Well, I think that the day that we start gathering proofs, because I think that there is no way to call the attention of the scientists if it is not for scientific statements and so on. So I have been interested in investigating the phenomenon that I record, but for a long time I met some persons that could do, some engineers,
Yes.
that could be able to analyze, to make statements, but obviously they charged. And I didn't have money because I don't charge for doing what I do. So this year, I heard of a society in Spain that was created for investigating paranormal phenomena.
Okay.
And then, obviously, I looked for them, and they promptly offered to help me with no cost.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, that was
Very
wonderful.
good.
Yeah, and then they issued the first statement about one video, because I had one video in which I was filming myself very close to the camera, and it's very common to record a phenomenon called the transfiguration. I don't know if you know what it is, but it is something like, let's suppose, I'm filming myself or anybody,
Yes.
and this person started changing in front of the camera.
Okay.
So that you have many different persons instead of that one. There's some things like that. So in that case, I was filming myself, and lots of time, I think that more than 30 times, I was another person, completely different from me.
Yes.
And then I got this raw video and sent it to Spain for them to verify if it was all clean, with no insertions, with no changes, if I didn't change anything, if I didn't add anything, if I didn't change the color, everything. And they investigated the 10 minutes of the video, and they made a report stating that the video was absolutely original. It was absolutely raw. So I think that was for me the very definitive evidence. Recently, they are working in another case. And also I have voice analyzed in Italy some years ago by the engineer Daniele Gula.
Okay.
He was from Bologna, and he used it to analyze voices for the Italian government. And so he had those softwares and everything. And he analyzed one voice that I sent to him, and he compared the voice of the deceased girl with the voice that the mother had of when the girl was alive.
Okay.
And so he made a comparison between the girl after death and the girl before death. And he made also a wonderful statement, and stating that the voice was nearly the same, the deceased one and the when she was alive. So I think this is the way to reach a scientist.
I hope we get the new worldview in the next time. When the people know that they can die, they can only change the frequency, can only change the dimension of life. After life, we change realities.
But you know what? I think that long ago, and when I say long ago, I mean some 3,000 years, 4,000 years, mankind knew about survival, like in Egypt,
Yes, yes.
everything. But I think that the Christianism made a very, very bad contribution. And unhappily, they maybe for ambitions of power, for ambitions of domination, or for money, for everything.
Yes.
So they had to assure people that they couldn't have the mediums. Mediums were are forbidden up today in Bible. Many persons doesn't know it, but it is forbidden. And so in truth, all those ancient people knew that we survive after death.
Yes.
Unhappily, we have to do all again to bring it in new format, like in science way, in a scientific way. Let's see, we are trying to contribute with that.
Yeah, and your work is a great work to show the people, look here, you can change your dead, you can live after life. Here's the proof, here's a picture, here's the videos, here's the catalog, you can look, here's the voices. And I put it in my documentaries, your work next year. And we must show what's going on in the world.
Yeah, and something, for instance, that is interesting was that, for instance, in last August, I was in the United States and I had the opportunity to record with 40 people. With each one, I recorded one video, and with all them, there happened apparitions and the ceased apparitions and the shapes in the vapor, everything. So all these documents now proves that people can experience these phenomena. It doesn't happen just to me in my lab, but it happened in the United States. So I think.
What is a trademark for this work?
Well, I'm calling all this last research as Milligan experiment in honor of Scott Milligan, because it was his suggestion from the other side. He made an interface between the other side and these new instructions. So I have been working in this Milligan experiment for some months, and it is amazing what they are doing. Sometimes, for instance, inside the egg that I'm not using by now, I'll change for the domes, but it's similar. And you see that the head, the seated ones form inside. So it is something very, very interesting.
You come next year to Spain?
Yeah.
I hope I can meet you in this time. I come also to Spain. You give me the address. And
yes, of course, with pleasure. I'll be with those guys that make the analysis, and we will possibly make experiments there so that they will have the videos done by themselves for analyzing.
Okay.
So it will be very, very good, and let's see. I'm sure that it will happen things, because it always happens. So let's see what they will analyze.
Very, very, very nice, Sonia. I think it is for the first time enough in information. I put your pictures and your videos in this Zoom interview, so then the people can see your work. And then he can send me your questions, and we can make a second interview about the questions about my followers.
Yes, of course. Okay? Yes, sure. And also, it happens. It happens everything. I think that in truth, I think that all these are just tests from the other side.
Okay.
We are just beginning. I mean, 30 years, it seems so long for us. But for them, it is nothing. And they are testing and testing and testing so that they can see what can function with us, what is better. and how they can improve the communication, because I think that one day in the very future, I think that this communication will be, our everyday, but not now. Even why I think that mankind is not prepared.
Yes.
And mainly, unhappily, the main religious tradition deny all this. So
Yes.
let's say that from the 7 billion people we have in the planet, about 4 billions deny. So, but it doesn't matter at all. We are doing our part, right? We are trying to cooperate, and one day it will work one way, in a way or another. It will work. So we're just doing our part.
Genau. And when 100 years we look after to this interview and say, oh, and this time here's 2 people know it. Okay. Sonia, thank you very much for this short interview, for this Skype, for this Zoom interview, and I send you in 2-3 weeks responsive about follow questions, and we call again. Okay?
Of course, my pleasure. I'm here just to do my part, as we just said. So whenever I can be of any help, please let me know.
Yes, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
On film, in real time, Sonia's world, where, as she describes it, images of the spirit world materialize. This cutting-edge research using video projectors, cameras, light, and other materials.
Yes.
Is your name Sonia?
Yes. Yes.
There's a man that wants to speak to you, Mrs.
Oh.
His name is... Hold on. Oh, he wants to tell you his name himself.
Oh. All right. He's going to tell you his name. Thank you.
Sonia Rinaldi.
Yes?
My name is Constantine Radovan.
Oh, Mr. Howard, thank you for your presence.
Huh?
Thank you.
I want you to know that I am working with you a lot of the time.
He's working with you a lot of the time. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, sometimes I don't understand quite well. But Sherry is helping me.
I want you to know that there is a problem with the communication.
What? There's a problem with the communication. Yes, is there anything that I can do?
Yes.
Sure, please tell me.
You need
Yes?
to create
Yes?
an electrical current between 2 capacitors.
Create an electrical current with 2 capacitors. Yes, if you can help me to reach these, I'll try all the way.
I will try. I will bring word through your communication channels, and I will help you, and we will accomplish many things together.
Wonderful. He said he will help you and you will accomplish many things together. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'll do anything that I can.
Yes, I know, and that is why I come to work with you often.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You know that I call you Mr. German, right?
You can call me what you wish.
Okay, thank you.
Have you seen my face? Yes.
Have you seen his face yet?
No. Have you seen it? Can you see his face?
I will appear on your communication.
Oh, wonderful. Will appear on your images. Oh!
You will see me on your images, yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Mr. Howard, I think that we should do more than we are doing, and I don't know how. And I think that what you people in the other side is doing is so important, and we have to do more for you, but we don't know how. If you can tell us or help us to help you.
Yes, I know, and I will do this. I will inspire with the great schematic for the capacitator for communication.
Yes, anything. Since I know what to do, I will.
And I will help you.
I thank you so much.
It is important that you know I will help you.
Can I make another question?
Yes.
Long ago, you apparently made some phone calls to Earth.
Yes.
And including to me. But this didn't happen anymore. Why is it? If it was possible for you to make a phone call, let's say 10 years ago, why it didn't come again? Why it didn't happen again?
Because the vibration of the fabric of the physical world prevents this from happening.
Oh, is there anything that we can, well, I don't know if this is important for you, but...
My dear, you are doing more than enough, that I can tell you.
Oh, I thank you so much.
We will do more work together. You in your world, I in mine.